I hadn't slept the entire night before, not because of stress, but because for the first time in years, I actually had hope. I was 25. I had been unemployed for a long stretch after COVID layoffs, but I finally fought my way back into the industry. And somehow, I made it to the final stage interview at a top marketing firm in the city, the kind of role that could completely change my life trajectory. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. This wasn't a random try. This was everything I worked for alone. Nights studying digital campaign analytics, AI ad tools, funnel case studies, competitor breakdowns, rewriting portfolio pieces, learning new platforms. While everyone else in my family laughed at me like I was pretending to be someone who mattered. My sister, Kristen, was the princess of the house. 29 years old, 2 kids, married, and still treated like she was entitled to the world for simply existing. My parents praised her motherhood like she invented childbirth. They praised her for getting married like she solved global poverty. Meanwhile, at 25, single, trying to rebuild my life and career, they saw me as nothing. That morning, I came downstairs dressed professional, confident, notebook in hand, resume folder ready. My dad was sitting at the kitchen island drinking black coffee like a CEO. He didn't even look up when I walked in. I said gently, "My final stage interview is in an hour. I'll be back this afternoon." He finally looked up, bored, uninterested, like I just told him the dryer cycle finished. "Cancel it," he said flatly. My stomach dropped. "Excuse me?" "Kristen needs you to babysit today. She has an appointment and her husband's at work. She's dropping the boys in 20 minutes. I blinked, speechless. "Dad, I can't cancel this. It took weeks to get this far. This is my career. This is actually important." He slammed his cup down so hard, coffee spilled over the rim. He leaned forward, eyes sharp, destructive calm dripping from every syllable. "Your life isn't going anywhere anyway." He stared through me like my existence itself was a wasted resource. "You are staying home. You are babysitting. That's final." I felt heat flush through every vein in my body. Humiliation plus fury plus disbelief all exploding inside me. Mom walked in mid-scene and said, laughing casually, "She should feel grateful she can even still be useful to this family in some way." Useful. Babysitter slave. Not a person with ambition. I tried again, breath held. "Dad, I am going. This isn't negotiable." He stood up, walked toward me, slow, dangerous, sizing me like I was dirt. "You think companies want people like you?" He leaned close to my face and hissed, "You're not built for success. You're built for serving people who are." My sister arrived seconds later, 2 toddlers behind her, not even bothering to greet me, just handing me diaper bags like I was a domestic employee on payroll. "Oh, good," Kristen said smugly. "She's dressed up for nothing. I knew she'd cancel eventually." My dad stood behind her, arms crossed, blocking the doorway like a bouncer. I felt tears forming, but I didn't let a single one fall. Inside my chest, something snapped. But it wasn't a breakdown, it was clarity. For 25 years, they trained me to choose them over me every single time. Today was the last day that version of me existed. This interview wasn't just a job. It was my exit strategy from this damn generational hierarchy they built. I looked at Kristen. I looked at my dad. And silently, without a single word spoken aloud, I made the decision that would dismantle every inch of their control over my life. I picked up my purse slowly like I was just going upstairs. But I wasn't going upstairs. I walked toward the hallway where my bedroom was, heart pounding like a drum, mind sharpened like glass. My dad followed me halfway, waiting to see if I'd break, waiting to see if the old version of me, the obedient version, would surrender. I closed my bedroom door behind me. I didn't sit. I didn't cry. I took a deep breath. And I changed clothes in 10 seconds flat. Switching my heels for ankle boots I could actually run in. Switching my blazer to a neutral cardigan so I wouldn't stand out speeding out the door. I grabbed my resume folder, laptop bag, phone charger, and keys. Suddenly my phone vibrated, unknown number, and something told me to answer. It was the recruiter. "Hi, Just wanted to let you know the CEO is actually joining your final round today personally, she said. He was very impressed with your presentation deck you submitted last stage. I almost broke right there hearing that. Someone out there, someone who didn't share my blood, saw value in my work, saw potential, saw skill, saw worth. I whispered back tightly, "Thank you. I'll be there early." When I opened my bedroom door, my dad was blocking the hallway like he expected to intercept me again. I walked past him without making eye contact. He grabbed my arm. "You're not going." I turned my head slowly. "Yes, I am." "You will never put your life before this family," he growled. I stared right in his eyes with a level of calm I didn't even know I had until that moment. "You're not my family. You're my prison." He froze. That single sentence stunned him like a stun gun shock. I didn't wait for his response. I brushed his hand off my arm and walked straight to the front door. My sister gasped like she couldn't believe I wasn't willing to sacrifice myself on demand. "What about my kids?" she screamed. I looked at her like she was a stranger in a grocery store I'd never speak to again. "You're an adult. Figure it out." I opened the door and walked out. My dad yelled after me, "If you walk out that door, do not come back here." I stopped at the doorway for half a second and said, "Good, that's the plan." I left. I drove faster than I ever drove in my life, but I wasn't panicking. I was focused. When I arrived at the firm, I walked into the glass building like someone stepping into their actual life for the first time ever. The interview was brutal. Technical questions, scenario simulations, campaign critique, budget breakdowns. But every minute I sat there, I realized none of their questions felt as hard as surviving my family did. Nothing in the world could intimidate me after what I lived through. The CEO looked at me at the end and said, "You have teeth. You have clarity. You have strategy. I like how you think." I felt my chest tighten with something close to disbelief. When I walked outside, I stood on the sidewalk just breathing, just feeling the wind for the first time like it belonged to me. Within an hour, I got the call. "You got it. We'll send your offer letter today." I stared at the screen, tears finally breaking down my face. Not weakness, but release. This moment felt like actual oxygen after years of breathing poison willingly. And the first thought I had wasn't, "I did it." It was, "They are going to hate this." And that thought didn't scare me anymore. It thrilled me. 2 hours after I got the job, my phone started blowing up. 21 missed calls, 11 from Kristen, 8 from Dad, 2 from Mom. I didn't answer a single one. They weren't worried about me. They were panicking because they lost their babysitting slave, and I wasn't coming back. I drove straight to my small apartment and I sat at my kitchen table. And this time, I did not collapse. I opened my laptop and I did something they never expected. I applied for my own apartment lease renewal without my father's cosign, without his involvement, without their approval. I also blocked them on everything except text, because I wanted written proof of every threat they would send next. And they sent plenty. Dad, "This is a phase. You are coming back." Mom, "You better apologize before people hear you lost control again." Kristen, "You will be sorry. You ruined my day." Then, the one that sealed what was coming. Dad, "Your new job doesn't change your place here. You will always be the one who serves us." I screenshotted everything. For years, I had no physical proof how they spoke to me behind closed doors. It was all verbal, all internal trauma. This time, they gave me the paper trail I needed, and now I used the one system they never thought I would touch, HR legal employment protections, because my new job offered full relocation financial support if I could prove unsafe family environment. They literally had a whole division that handled domestic safety cases. I submitted every screenshot, every threat, every demand. The recruiter forwarded it straight to the special case. Liaison. Within 72 hours, my new company legally bought out my lease termination, paid for my move, and assigned a corporate attorney to file a domestic protective distance arrangement where my parents couldn't legally insert themselves into my workplace, my new address, or try to sabotage employment. And then my revenge actually started, because the only real control they ever had over me wasn't physical. It was economic. I changed my number, new bank accounts with two-step verification, new emergency contact only my best friend, new HR file with company legal oversight. For the first time in my life, they had zero leverage, no access, no keys, no addresses, no childcare dependency. They had nothing. Meanwhile, I showed up to my first official day at work like a woman who finally started breathing oxygen. I sat in that modern glass office with a laptop they gave me, a company investing in ME, a team learning from ME, and every time I adjusted my headset or typed or opened a campaign dashboard, all I could hear in the back of my mind was Dad saying, "Your life isn't going anywhere anyway." And now I was literally inside the exact life path that proved him dead wrong. That was the revenge, watching them spiral, while I finally stood up. A week later, Kristen tried to call HR at my new company pretending to be me to verify eligibility for some fake emergency childcare form, hoping she could force me back into service roles again. HR called me immediately. She violated the corporate legal warning notice they had on file. The company attorney sent her an official cease contact letter and notified her employer's HR. Kristen's job suspended her for impersonation misconduct investigation. My mom and dad tried calling neighbors telling them, "I'm mentally unstable again." Neighbors told them they were insane and blocked them, because I already told neighbors exactly what happened before they could twist the narrative. They kept trying to control the old version of me who broke every time they shouted. But that version died the second I walked out the door for my interview. This new version? She didn't break. She built. Final move. I changed my permanent residency records and emergency contacts legally without them. They would never again be able to sign my name, speak for me, demand I drop everything for them, or claim ownership over me because they birthed me. They called for weeks. They demanded. They raged. They screamed into the void, and I lived my new life, working late in my new office, free, whole, self-funded, legally protected, independent. They didn't lose me because I hated them. They lost me because they chose to make sure every dream I ever wanted died at their feet, and I finally chose something different. I would rather succeed alone than serve them, forever. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.